Hi, I'm Travis, and this is Handcrafted Overlanding. Today is part 3 of the CNC router build. Today, I'm going to assemble and test the brains of the operation. What I have here are the parts for open builds, black box? Yeah, they're black box. This is a controller and motor driver all built into one. Now there's a lot of different options out there for Mach 3s, and there's tons of different builds that you can do. And frankly, none of them really kind of fit the bill for me. This I bought basically when I started the project. I actually bought this before I bought anything that I've already assembled today. And I haven't even assembled it to test it to make sure it works. I'm not too worried about that. But today, as you can see, everything's in a nice pile of parts. Today, I'm going to go ahead and assemble it, and then tomorrow, same video, I'm going to test it. We're going to hook up some wiring, get the motors fired up to see if they're spinning properly, interface it into the computer, get it tested, things like that. We won't be doing any cutting today because I just got the remaining bolts that I need to finish the assembly of the drive mechanisms on the CNC router for X, Y, and Z to attach the ball screws to the their given pieces. Anyways, that's going to be a different video, but today I'm going to go ahead and build this. I'm just looking online for the instructions, and they are super, super simple. So and there we go. Anyways, one of the things I really like about this are the terminal blocks. You can see how awesome this is. And you can see that I have a Y1 and a Y2 motor. So I thought I had to wire those in parallel, or series parallel. But it looks like this controller does even that. That's going to make wiring so much easier. Anyways, most of that's going to be for tomorrow night. I need to bust out wiring and start wiring this whole thing up. We all know how dirty this shop is. Or garage, not shop. It doesn't get to be called a shop yet. But today, this little guy is going in the bag for the night. Tomorrow, we'll get at it. Hey everyone, it's another fabulous night out here, and 11 o'clock p.m. What can I say? Life finds a way. So, as you saw, I built the black box. Again, this is from Open Builds. It's a great all-in-one unit. So when I bought this year and a half ago, I bought it because at the time, I don't know about now, all I could find were devices that required serial adapters for Mach 3, I think it was, which tended, at least at the time, to be one of the biggest CNC CAD software packages out there. There were serial adapters, you had to buy stepper drivers, you had to buy your motors, of course, you had to buy the controller, you had to wire it all together, which is cool, don't get me wrong. I decided I did not want that. I found this guy. It is USB, which I absolutely love. I believe that their software package also is available for Linux. Eventually, I'm going to probably drive this off of a Raspberry Pi. I have a 2 sitting around doing nothing. I might go buy a 3 or a 4 or what have you. Who knows? Anyways, recap. Right here underneath our black box is a 24 volt power supply. This guy is way oversized. It can do 25 amp. This box is limited. Well, it has a 10 amp fuse, so it gets fed in from it. This controls all your drivers. Now, these use up to 4.2 amps each. This guy is 3.2 amp nominal with, I think, a 4 amp peak. I think that means that if I were to run all these at the same time at full tilt, they'd only be able to run at 1 amp, which would be a shame for the drivers because they can go up to, like I said, 4.2. Anyways, so last night, what I decided to do is I wrapped all the cables with this nice loom, taped it, I built out end connectors. I could have connected directly into the control boxes, but I decided to build these pigtails. And the reason is I plan on putting all this into a control box underneath the unit. I want it to be as sealed as possible, and I want to put strain reliefs on these so you can't, if you tug on these, it won't actually be tugging on the box. The cabling I ended up using to connect from the box to the motors is this stuff. I believe it's 18 gauge, all 4 wires. Colors match the motors. There is a specific way you need to wire these up. Look online, and it's really simple. The reason why it took me so long is because I was putting all these sheaths on. That's what took the most time. The actual wiring was done. So, without further ado, I'm going to fire it up. It's going to be kind of loud. I apologize for the fan noise, but this has a fan, this has a fan. And then I'm going to show you the software that comes with running this. Now, we'll talk about that in a minute, but it's a free software package from Open Builds. I'm not running one of their builds. They're really cool. They have extruded aluminum rails. They look really cool. I thought I could do better. We'll see. So, if you guys are wondering why the laptop changed, well, I was running with Surface Pro 3, and well, it gave up the ghost. I don't know what happened was, I plugged it in, boom, done. Did not even want to fire back up. Anyways, so we'll plug this in. I give this a few seconds to warm up. I don't think you need to, but this has a on-off switch, so that'll fire up. You might hear the motors whirring. Because this is USB to serial, it happens all in the cable itself and makes everything good. You fire up the software package, and guess what? You can start jogging stuff around. You can't jog all of them at the same time, but they all do jog. I have it set to jog for 1 inch. You probably wouldn't be set up like that. And this is the software package. It's really straightforward, it's really simple. You open up your G-code, you run it, you can turn your tool on, tool off. It has a lot of cool features. I haven't even begun to play with this thing. It has an abort button. I think you can put in an e-stop button on this thing. I bought one. We'll get that wired up later in another video. But a lot of good things to control here. Really simple. Like I said, I got this from Open Builds. It is a really well documented and community support. I'm not sponsored by them, but I liked the controller. Their community is pretty awesome. Their documentation is just phenomenal. There's no guessing on it whatsoever. They give you your specs, how to build it, what sort of motors to run. I think right now it's telling me to run, it'll do 17s or 20. These are 23s. Anyways, these run just fine off this guy. You can actually do even 23s. This has features for 2 y-axis. You can actually move jumpers in the box, and you can pair that to different axes. Because I'm still building mine, I get to pick what axes do what. I may change those jumpers. I don't know. We'll get around to that. But the community is just phenomenal. So many projects, so many different builds. Everybody looks like that they're very well supported, and I think that's phenomenal. They have new parts coming out all the time. This interface control panel, I just saw it. I mean, looks really cool. When I installed the software package, I actually had to go online and download the drivers. Well, guess what? Those drivers are listed in their notes, so you can actually find and download the drivers. You download it straight from the chip manufacturer's page. I downloaded the setup executable, ran perfect, no questions asked. When you first power it on, you gotta tell it what to connect to. Wow, this even remember the X. I guess I didn't really remember the XYZ. Whatever. I don't know. We'll see what's going on with that. But yeah, I mean, simply touching buttons, and only jog one at a time, like I said. But it's pretty dang strong. And then, of course, we'd always go to 0. So, yeah, overall, I'm pretty happy about this. This whole torque is pretty, like, I can't do it by finger. So, I'm pretty impressed by that. So, essentially, these are the brains to the operation. Next, I'll be mounting the motors. I was waiting for some M5 bolts to come in. Those finally came in. They were a week late or something like that, but I bought all my bolts from a company called Boat Depot. Let me say that again. Bolt Depot. I'm not sponsored by anyone. They have great prices. I might be in $60 worth of bolts, to be honest with you. I don't recall. I'd have to take a look at the numbers. But overall, those are great guys. Every single bolt that I've pulled out of one of their bags has been fantastic. Everything is really well labeled. Yeah, I think that I'm in a good position for success, and hopefully I'll be able to spin those screws sometime in the next day or so. Yeah, if this is the end of the video, this is the end of the video, and thanks so much for watching. If it isn't, you'll see me installing these guys in and doing some more cabling, doing some testing, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to get these things to drive that gantry. We'll have to see what's going on. I'm sure that I'm going to need to come in, change incremental lengths, jogs, things like that for this, because again, not a standard build for their software package. This is, oops, I hit the reset button. This isn't a standard thing for their package, so it is what it is. I think that it's going to be a good build. And, yeah. See what happens. All right, so you saw me drill those holes. Went ahead and attached them to the plate. Now, you might be wondering, Travis, why did you put nuts on these? Well, it's because the screws that I ordered were too long. That was my bad. And then we also have this gap between the, I'm going to just call it the carriage attachment point and the gantry. So I just put a bolt and a washer under there to kind of take up a little bit of slack. That's going to need to be changed. This whole gantry design needs to be redone. It's not great. Also, bolted the motors down to the plate. Got the couplers attached to it. Went ahead and attached the motors because what I want to do tonight is I want to get this gantry to move. So let's see if it moves. I'm hoping so. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Okay, that's cool. See if we can increase the feed rate. I don't know if that did anything. Slow down the feed rate. I'll be honest, I'm not seeing any speed difference. That's one axis down. We got 2 more to go. I got a little bit of wiggle wobble on these motors. Or at least this one. Tells me that it's not perfectly in line, but I can fix that. This plate moves. Right now it's not bolted to the bottom. I didn't want to put too much torque on the actual spindle itself. But it moves! It moves! This is more than this project has done on its own in over 2 years. Alright. So this video is coming out like a day late because I wanted to get to this point. I was so excited to get to the point where I could show you that this system actually can move. We spun the motors, I got the bolts in. I'm gonna order more that are gonna be shorter, and I still got to lubricate the blocks. That's all details. But as of tonight, the gantry moves. I mean, that's awesome. So, next video, I'm gonna tackle the gantry, and then the mounting situation to mount between the gantry and the Z-axis. That might be 2 videos, that may be 1, I'm not sure yet. But it's coming along, and we still might be able to get our first cut by the end of this month. Who knows? Alright, so hope you guys are enjoying. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.